Not to be put off by the intermittent mobile reception, the team turns to another piece of technology to find a likely spot to place the camera, which gives Chris a chance to pull out his drone.
So I'm assembling the drone so we can put it up into the air and sort of efficiently scan the environment and select a location for the camera and base station that we want to set up. This is a DJI Phantom and it's carrying a GoPro Black that I'm going to set to 1080 with 60 frames a second, and basically I'm going to fly it in this area to sort of ultimately scan it and get the lie of the land, which will give us a good location to erect this camera and base station that Warren's brought down. There's been a lot of sightings of thylacine in this area, so the drone will give us a good idea of what location and what habitat we're dealing with. So what it's doing at the moment is just calibrating the GPS, setting a return home point, so if anything goes wrong and it loses contact with the transmitter, it'll fly back to this point. And it'll fly back at about 20 meters height to avoid the trees, and then it'll hover for about 15 seconds and then it will rapidly descend. Okay, so I've got the green light. The next thing I might do, just to be safe, is just do the weird little dance that we do to reset the compass. To set the camera up. Catch drones by hand, you must be a special sort of crazy. So Bill, if you want to stop Whitman, we might go and check the footage on the laptop and see where we put this camera up.
Yeah, as I thought, once that drone comes out, it's going to be a long day.
So you'd Whittle. Bill will pop this card out of the GoPro, chuck in the laptop and have a look at that footage. You know, you can stop whistling for long enough. So if we head off the road in that direction and sort of head through there, you've got a nice sort of clear patch that borders the tree line, far enough away from people and investigation. Should still be in the mobile coverage. We've got this sort of ridge line that they'd potentially follow to sort of move from area to area, north-south, like highlands into the lowlands. What do you think?
Okay, yeah, sounds like a good idea. So I think I can see all that from my height.
Really? I doubt it. You might have a high opinion of yourself, but not that high.
I'm walking through this button grass. It's incredibly hard to get through. When I sort of think back about Parks and Wildlife in the 80s saying they did a thorough search, this little field here is probably about not quite 2 football fields in size, It would probably take us the best part of a day just to do a zigzag search in this one area. Anything could be crouching down low in here. The only way to move through this quick is if you've got big long feet in proportion to your body like a macropod, or you're running on 4 legs. So humans are at a disadvantage. This is one tiny little speck of Tasmania. Imagine the rest of it. Anything could be out there.
So we've just walked through a whole heap of button grass. Until you've actually walked through this stuff, it's really hard to express how difficult it is to move through. Even just a short distance takes a lot out of you. It's really tough territory to navigate through.
Button grass. It turns what should be just a leisurely little stroll of about 5 to 10 minutes into over a half-hour struggle.
We're on a fairly significant game trail here. You can see through this really dense vegetation, particularly at that animal height level, how it's just been cleared by that constant movement of animals to and from a local water source. So this is the kind of location we need to put up our cameras so we've got maximum potential to get something on film. Clear area up here, Bill, out of this button grass.
Oh, good. I am sick of this terrain. Get through.
What I'm thinking is that we've come out of the button grass area into this area that's a little bit sheltered. We've got some coverage here, which is good. We're still pretty close to the siding, close enough that certainly within a predator's range. So this looks like a good place. The wind's a little bit lesser here, so we're going to get fewer false triggers. I've had the Squatch prepare the site, so we'll get out and we'll test it, and then we'll see how we go. But looks pretty good to me.
Not this end and up there. You've done 2 things. I think one big continuous one all the way around the tree.
Yeah.
Broken here.
One more time around.
There's 3 loops is far less dodgy than 1.
That's the science of it, Chris, yes.
Right.
Break it here.
Yep. Bill, what I thought is if you could just hook up the solar panel, and I'll come back when you've done that.
What? Hook it up to what? Where's that go? There you go.
Yeah. So this is the mounting bracket for our solar panel. So gives us a nice firm base to mount the solar panel on. So we can just attach this to the tree, give it a nice northerly aspect. It's got an embedded 3.7 volt battery in it, so it charges the battery, and then we feed this into the camera, and it means that we can keep the cameras in place for a lot longer.
That just reeks of quality and integrity there, Warren.
Yeah. It does, doesn't it?
What are you trying to say, Christopher? It's an art installation.
I've been to some of your shows, and yes it is.
Reboot this thing.
Yank back.
Back for that.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we still need to test it right before we go.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is do that. We'll then
You want to test it with your mobile phone, see if it's catching something?
yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to plug in, get rid of this tape, tidy this up. Okay, we've set the camera up now, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick test. This should see whether the camera is going to pick up the image of our test subject, in this case Bill, walking past the camera. It should then send us an email. Should be able to check it here on my phone. Once that's done, we can tidy the area up, descent the area because we've got our hands all over the equipment, and add some camouflage and then head back out.
So you want me to walk like a cryptid?
Walk like an Egyptian.
Walk like an Egyptian cryptid? That's very cryptic.
Yet they say no one can represent that gate.
That's right, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Really? I do it every day.
We know. Any luck there, Governor?
Not yet, so I have to sit and wait.
Keep arguing.
That's fucking problematic.
You mean Bill and his constant she buggered.
He buggered.
Terribly vexing putting this stuff up, very temperamental to set up. The antenna doesn't want to be near anything, so it's not very user friendly, so we've had to move the antenna out, disguise it a little bit as best we can to be able to get it to work properly. So definitely has to be a better way of doing this stuff that we're going to have to spend more time looking at.
So Warren, what do you think? How do you think it went?
Well, obviously great area, recent sighting, so we wanted to get this new technology out into the field, and it was quite temperamental and quite frustrating to actually set it up. Firstly, you've got to be on the edge at least of mobile phone reception. We had a big antenna, but because of the technical characteristics of mobile phone comms, it didn't like being near trees or the button grass, so we had to make a lot of adjustments. And because this is so remote, if we leave it and we get back to base and it's not working, it's a long way to come back out, so we needed to test it. We tested it before we came out, worked fine, but in the actual field, yeah, the technology leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay. So, any thoughts on what you do next time?
Yeah, I think we probably need to work more closely with people who are specialists in this particular area and get a more robust antenna system. Now, the cameras themselves are made at a price point, so we understand that. If we can get a better mast type system that can enable us to get away from this low level vegetation, I think that will improve our chances of getting a strong signal and getting those images back from the field.
Call me stupid, but
Stupid.
yeah, sometimes you see antennas like out the side of a house. Do you reckon there's some sort of bracket we could put off the side of a tree to move that out?
Yeah, look, absolutely. There's a bunch of different things that we can do, and we understand, I guess, fundamentally the way that the waveforms or the radio waves work on these masts, and they're quite small, right, at this frequency, so it means things interfere with them easily. So if you can put a bracket on the outside of a tree or whatnot, that can definitely help. The issue then is how do you actually get that into the location if you're lugging a lot of equipment and those sorts of things. So
a screwdriver, a few screws, put it in.
Yeah, there's trade-offs with all of these sorts of things, but I think we need to continue to
I was carrying a fairly large backpack. I'm sure I'd do it for you, mate.
as you usually do, carry nothing but a knife and your manly integrity, right? So
Well, it's those things behind his beard.
This investigation's been great. We've come out to this prime habitat. There's a very recent sighting. We've got a bunch of cameras out really close to where the sighting happened. We've also trialled some new technology in trying to get remote images broadcast back from the field back to our home base. We're using mobile phone based technology, a little bit unreliable, but I think we've got a way forward in terms of working more with some experts in this particular area so we can build our capability, get more cameras in the field and broaden our search area.